Once upon a time, Hollywood would come knocking on WWE's door, seeking its stars and spectacle. But today, the roles have reversed. WWE now sprints toward Hollywood with arms wide open, desperate to secure a foothold in a world that once looked down on it. What started as a mutually beneficial relationship between wrestling and entertainment has now devolved into a one-sided pursuit. WWE is hemorrhaging talent, purpose, and energy in its frantic chase for mainstream recognition. The irony is painful. Many of the superstars that WWE spent years building into cultural icons are now seeking approval from an industry that never truly respected them to begin with. This shift has become even more pronounced under the TKO merger, which has thrust WWE into a full-blown identity crisis. What was once a wrestling powerhouse now resembles an entertainment shell, hollowed out and increasingly estranged from the passionate fanbase that sustained it. The decline of WWE is not just measured in falling ratings or sterile segments. It's about a company that no longer embraces what it fundamentally is. Wrestling was once the soul of WWE. Now, it seems like an inconvenient legacy. Roman Reigns serves as a stark example. After years of audience resistance, WWE reinvented him as the tribal chief, creating one of the most compelling characters in recent memory. At long last, fans were invested. But just as his character reached a dramatic peak, Reigns began to withdraw from regular appearances. First came a reduced schedule, then flirtations with Hollywood projects, and eventually confirmed acting gigs. His once constant presence faded into sporadic cameos. The Bloodline storyline, once a masterclass in long-term storytelling, began to lose momentum because its central figure had one foot out the door. WWE had constructed an empire around a man whose gaze was fixed elsewhere, and when the anchor drifts, the entire ship begins to drift with it. This pattern isn't new. John Cena blazed the trail. After years as WWE's face, he methodically transitioned into acting, first juggling both worlds, then moving into part-time status, and finally becoming just another celebrity, making occasional WWE appearances. Unlike The Rock, who exited quickly, Cena's departure was a slow burn. Fans once believed he would be the constant, the company man. But Hollywood's allure proved too strong. When Cena returns now, it feels less like a homecoming and more like a marketing strategy, here to promote a movie or inject star power into a struggling show. His involvement has become transactional, emblematic of WWE's broader shift away from storytelling and towards spectacle. Nowhere is this more evident than with The Rock's recent return. Once the epitome of charisma and electricity, his involvement now reeks of corporate maneuvering. His latest run felt less like a nostalgic boost and more like a strategic chess move guided by boardroom interests. His actions undercut rising stars like Cody Rhodes, not enhancing their storylines but redirecting them in ways that sowed confusion and frustration. The Rock no longer feels like a legendary figure returning for the fans. He feels like a brand ambassador parachuting in with an agenda. His presence overshadowed the organic momentum WWE had painstakingly built, turning heartfelt storytelling into PR theater. Perhaps the most alarming part of this cultural shift is the lack of a true succession plan. WWE has stopped cultivating the next generation of transcendent stars. Gone are the days when young wrestlers dreamed of becoming champions or legends. Now, many simply aim to catch fire on social media, score a Netflix deal, or land a Marvel audition. WWE has been reduced from being the ultimate goal to merely a launchpad. That shift has stripped the locker room of hunger and grit. Instead of nurturing passionate performers, WWE now seeks marketable influencers. The ring is no longer a proving ground. It's a platform for temporary relevance. As a result, fewer wrestlers seem emotionally connected to wrestling. Storylines rarely breathe. Characters are rushed to the top only to be cast aside for celebrity appearances or viral trends. The emphasis on mainstream appeal has corrupted WWE's creative compass. Episodes of Raw and SmackDown are no longer structured for wrestling fans, but for social media algorithms. Matches are often short, promos feel robotic, and segments are crafted more for sponsors than for fans. Even pay-per-views, Once epic showdowns for titles and pride now feel like extended commercials. It's hard to care deeply when the biggest spotlight moments are reserved for outsiders like Logan Paul or Bad Bunny, who, despite their efforts, remind fans that WWE values spectacle over dedication. Production has followed suit. The gritty, visceral aesthetic of wrestling's golden years has been replaced by overproduced gloss. LED screens, augmented reality graphics, and camera drones now dominate the presentation. The atmosphere feels more like a flashy halftime show than a wrestling event. Authenticity has been replaced by polish, raw energy sacrificed for broadcast quality. And at the center of this transformation is TKO, the merger between WWE and UFC under Endeavor. This is no longer a wrestling company, it's a content conglomerate, guided not by fan passion but by spreadsheets and shareholder expectations. Creative decisions are now made with corporate synergy in mind, not emotional storytelling. TKO's influence is everywhere, from branding consistency to global expansion strategies that prioritize foreign partnerships over satisfying the domestic fanbase. WWE is being dissected and monetized at every possible level. Wrestlers are viewed as interchangeable assets, valued more for how they look in a sponsorship campaign than how they tell stories in the ring. Long-term arcs are abandoned for quick hits. Depth has been sacrificed for breadth. Wrestler morale is deteriorating. With no creative direction and little investment in their development, many talents find themselves treading water. Some ask for releases. Others simply wait out their contracts in silence. Disillusionment is growing. But corporate WWE rarely listens to these voices. It listens to quarterly projections and data analytics. And fans can tell. Attendance is falling. Viewer engagement is slipping. Events feel hollow, stacked with expensive production but lacking emotional weight. Matches often feel like filler between product placements. Merchandising is driven by pointless collaborations with streetwear brands. Every entrance is branded. Every storyline feels manufactured. Even the fan base is evolving, reconditioned, some might say. The diehards, the ones who live for compelling characters and dramatic heel turns, are being replaced by a broader but shallower audience. These new viewers cheer when prompted, clap for celebrity cameos, and tune in for viral clips. Emotional investment is fading. The suspension of disbelief that once made wrestling magical has been replaced by a cynical awareness that everything is calculated. Wrestling used to make fans feel. Now it simply asks them to engage. International events further highlight this change. Major shows in Saudi Arabia, Australia, and Europe are booked not to pay off long-running arcs but to satisfy political or commercial interests. Stadiums are filled with casual attendees, not loyal fans. Characters are shuffled without logic. Titles are defended without context. These spectacles may boost short-term revenue, but they erase the storytelling DNA that made WWE a global phenomenon.